Okay. Yeah, the keys are in. Do you mind turning it off? Yeah. Thank you so much, my friend. Bye.
Kilo Delta Echo November Airport information India 2153 Zulu weather wind 272 at 20 gusting to 28 visibility 10 sky conditions few clouds at 7,000 ceiling 9,000.
Every orange title that is in the out, except now. But yes, everything is more C4. He's asking him to let me know this. Takeoff speed and center of gravity is going to be center of gravity is going to be 23%. And we got 142, 141, 152 on departure. Straight up with flight level 392. We have no DC. And we're ready for departure, I think. It's extremely windy. I think that the wind is like 25 knots. Should be very long. Alright, you can see the 4-star checklist. Flightbeam on. Fuel panel is set. The Gulf heat is set. The hydraulics are on. Anti-collision lights on. Doors are closed and the packs are off. Asking where is my shot box? It's not on Twitch or ADX.
You have to come to you to see it.
that's it, yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm actually gonna
make some text once I'm airborne. That's right, they'll be there next time.
I just want to make sure that you guys, this is the first time I've ever used a headset. I want to make sure that you can hear me fine. Just type yes, no, 555. actually on the process of finishing building a series Titan 22 sim on my other house to practice for a real life. I don't think I never see myself having a 320 sim. So guys, I'm trying to fix the voice so I could talk to you and make it more interactive. So can you just let me know how you hear me? 5x5, 4x5, bad. Alright, I'll try to fix this. That is exactly what's going on. Because if I turn it off, watch what happens when I turn it off. Okay, now do you guys hear an echo right now? Yeah, but you can't hear the engines, all right? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I guess see now the engines are coming in from the same mic that I'm talking, so it will be. But it's okay. We don't need to hear the rumbling. I am clear. Thank you. So, is there anybody here from New York, or at least United States? Well, let's see. I read first. I mean, 320. Obviously, not in the plans. What is it? What I did do next week, I'm finishing a level D simulator, full motion for the Series SR22, which I'm gonna use to train for when I pick up the real one in December. I ordered a real. I ordered the brand new 2017 22, the series, and it's gonna be is going into manufacturing next month, and it should be ready for pickup at the end of the month, at the end of the year. So I'm making a full motion simulator on my weekend house for the series, but no Airbus. Sacramento, California. Nice. I've been there. It's beautiful. Let's see. We have a team of, including myself, there's about 7 of us, which are managing different companies. But yeah, there's 7 of us that are focused on the new ADX project, which is gonna be very interesting. We are planning on having a stream on with all the senior management on Friday, with of my company to basically introduce everybody, and that will be Friday afternoon New York time. But I can assure you that it's all good people, and the guy that's flying right now and doing the stream for the CIJ, he's a great guy. He's a real world controller for Atlanta sector, and he's very knowledgeable. So ask him questions. He's very good. I'm excited, my friend. I'm very excited. I can imagine. San Francisco became super expensive. New York, I don't even want to talk about it. It's ridiculous. It's a big bubble. Okay, you see that question you just asked, that's exactly what we want. Very soon, I don't want to say a week, but very soon we're gonna have our full forums up and running, and all your comments and requests of airports are gonna be taken very seriously. And I'm not saying by an average Joe, but we're gonna have like big time developers actually making airports that we're missing. I don't know if you guys are interested in Palm Beach, but that's one that I think definitely needs to get built. And what else we have in the pipeline? Palm Beach, NU, Atlanta, BWI. I don't know if you guys realize, but there are so many airports that are in the pipeline of different developers, and we get no updates and then no news, and it takes a long time. And that's it. in my opinion, that's the main problem, that developers just, they're overwhelmed, right? I mean, they do a project and they gotta wait for that project to make a little money so they could work on the other one. I think our system is gonna make it a lot smoother, right? The developers would just get funding, so you can just focus on working one after the other. I agree, Josh, 100%. But you know what the problem is, and then this goes back to my issue, that these developers had it in their pipeline for a long time, and they already started doing work on it, and just because somebody else decided to do it, it's hard for a developer to just drop the plan completely. So, I mean, that's the main issue, that it takes so long from announcement to release, no? I also think that we're gonna definitely have to develop more airports in South America. Now that we have finally have the Orbs South America scenery, I think Argentina, which I'm biased because that's where I'm from, but Argentina and Brazil, Chile, they have a lot of amazing approaches. No, we should definitely be focused on that. There's a lot of fun things to do in South America. Santiago needs to be redone big time. That's one of my favorite airports. In fact, one of my favorite flights is actually Santiago to Buenos Aires, either Ezeiza or Jorge Newbery, because the departure is amazing. You go right over the Andes, and the 500-mile flight. I actually really like that flight, and I agree with you. It's not. We have Perth. You don't think Orbis did a good job? And then I say that like interesting. I thought that yeah, no, Orbs has the smallest Perth, not the actual Perth. You're right about that. But I think that like the first priority will be to finally get Auckland up and running, because that's definitely, I mean, that would be an amazing airport. Yeah, yeah. That would be amazing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Queenstown by Orbit, but I mean, I think from Auckland to Queenstown, that's a beautiful approach. The Arnab Gulf into Auckland is great. Yeah, SBGR is a great airport. You know what you should try? SBRJ, that is a small one that has the NDB to runway 20, that has a circle to land. That's a very, very special approach. One of my favorites. If you look at my stream, I'm known for doing just, lack of a better word, stupid approaches. Like I love Paro Bhutan, runway 15, Tegucigalpa, the Arnav. Any airport that has a big challenging approach, I'm all for it. Especially with emotion. Like last night, I don't know if you guys were watching, but last night I went from LAX to San Fran, and the approach controller knew me, and he knows that I usually request weird approaches, and he gave me the ILS to 28 right, circle to land runway 1. Which is it was pretty cool. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Jay Moyam. I don't know your name, but I know you as Jay Moyam. I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment. Okay, now this is what happens when you don't use a planning tool and you just load up and go. I don't know if you can see on the CDU, but I'm estimated to arrive at Minneapolis with 14,000 pounds of fuel. Let me see if I could just zoom in over here. Can you? No, you guys probably can't see it. You see, that is totally unnecessary. 14,000 pounds in the fuel. That's just because I was too lazy to actually do the planning correctly. Okay, so right now I'm using Prepare version 4, and the entire avionics of the 737 is by ProSim 737. I'm not familiar. I don't know if you guys know about it, but I think it's by far the best avionics software for the 737, and they also have a 320 avionics suite, which is it's by far the best. ProSim 737. The platform. Well, I'm using Prepared V4, and then that's on one computer, and then I have 3 other computers networked together, and they all use ProSim 737. That is by far, that is in my opinion by far the best and most versatile avionics software in the market. They also just released a 320 version, and they have their own their professional flight model, which is really good. So like my plane is a dot. Like I'm not using the NGX. I don't have an actual texture. It's just the flight file and the flight model. No, you're not jealous. Come on. The short answer is no. I mean, yes, you can build a cockpit out of the NGX, but then you reach a point in which you just go crazy because like basically you need to, like a suit like ProSim actually supports every single hardware, and when you do the NGX, then number one you have a lot of performance extra that you don't need, like like all the virtual cockpit. That's you don't need that stuff. But more importantly, every hardware that you buy has to have a driver to work with the NGX, so it's a pain in the butt. Like, I would never. If you want to have a joystick and routers, that's fine. But if you want to like build a cockpit, I mean, NGX will just drive you nuts. Yeah, it's cheaper, of course. I mean, it's $60 compared to 3 or 4,000 euros, but it's just not. I mean, it's not. There's a it's not made for that. That's an interesting question. I get it all the time. I don't wanna shake any grounds. But to have a setup like this, it would definitely be well over $1 million. Close to like $2 million. The motion platform itself it's an arm and a leg. But yeah, I mean, I would say between $1 and $2 million. And don't tell anybody that I said that, especially my wife. But I'm not saying that all simulators are that much money. I mean, you could definitely build a simulator for a fraction of the cost, no? No, no, no. No time for crying. And to be honest with you, I don't regret it at all. Yeah, no, I don't want to think about that. It's interesting. That's the one thing that you don't realize. Like, all the add-ons that you purchase over the years, especially me, I'm one of those that, like, whenever a new add-on comes out, I have to buy it that day, even though I'm never gonna fly there. It's amazing the amount of money. But to be honest with you, this is probably the most therapeutic thing that I could have ever done. I have a very stressful job. I come here and I forget about the world. So I bet you I will live several more years just because I have something like this. So it's worth it. That is 100% what I think. Work hard and then play very, very hard. Like my parents always tell me, "Are you crazy? You could have bought a huge house." And I'm like, "Yeah, but what the fuck am I gonna do with a huge house?" Although my wife wouldn't agree. My wife still doesn't really know. Yeah, yeah. You have no idea how after a very stressful day I come here and I don't even hear my cell phone. Like I just, it's just totally just disconnect until dinner time, and yeah, I mean I think it's very healthy, no? Yeah, it's actually very interesting how out of all of this, like people don't realize that people say you have to go to the gym for the stress, which is true, of course, I go to the gym, but you need to have a hobby, something that you think about that requires you to actually use your brain, and that you look forward to doing every day. No, I mean I think that's probably the best way to relieve your stress, especially if you have a stressful job or you go through stress every day. Okay, so here's the question: why P3D and not explain? The answer is very simple. I started flying on with the first flight simulator by Microsoft. Then I went to FSX. Then I went to P3D, and the easy answer is this: ProSim, what I use, is now fully compatible with X-Plane, so that's out of the question. And basically, that's what it comes down to. I'm just used to prepared, and I always went prepared. So the argument that X-Plane is 64 bits now, well, that's not relevant anymore because so is Volume 4. I don't have both, so like don't take my opinion with a grain of salt because I never in my life flew with X-Plane. No, it's just not compatible with the cockpit building software. That's all. But people that use X-Plane and they send me screenshots, they're actually super impressive. But then again, for me, it's not really an option. No. That is true. X-Plane at night does look incredible. And I hear that it's actually is a lot more optimized, right? For the computers, like unlike prepared, even version 4 is just not nearly as optimized as it should be. I hear X-Plane is very good on the hardware, right? Yes, I use ADX Sky 16 for prepared. But before in I used to use Rex, but now I just use AXA because it's just so easy and automatic. I love that. Yes, I have every Orbex scenery that ever came out. That's correct. It's a it's a two-floor penthouse in Manhattan, and this is on the first floor. I am married, and my wife is wonderful and very understanding. I'm very lucky for that. And she is actually I'm gonna have my first baby girl in about 2 months. And believe it or not, I already bought a car seat to put to when she's a baby to put her in the simulator, and she can sleep while I fly. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. I'm very excited. But yeah, my wife is wonderful. She actually she totally understands, which is weird to me because she's not supposed to understand that I want to have this in a whole bedroom, but she understands, and I'm very grateful for that. She's a lawyer. She works long hours, so thank you very much, my friends. Thank you. Do I handle all the technicals? Yeah, I actually pretty much handle all the technicals. And I had pilots from American Airlines. I actually had pilots from Copa Airlines that came to train here because, as you know, it's a level D. So they get to train some procedures. And the honest truth, their feedback is that this is better than the airline simulator because of the scenery, because of the 4K scenery. Apparently, I never been to a level D simulator in the airlines, but they don't really care about the scenery because that's not really what they're after. So congrats to you, BC Wells. and so a lot of times they just, you know, they're blown away by the detail. I have the option of renting the simulator for training for the airlines, but a prerequisite of that is that I can be home, and that's obviously not gonna work for me. Yes, it is. But I don't actually I don't rent it out for what I said before, that they don't allow me to stay in the house when they're here, so that's not gonna fly. Well, I really appreciate Jay Moyen. That's thank you. I appreciate that. What where are we gonna fly? Take care. Bye, Mike. Yeah, it's weird. It's actually because the they usually come with an instructor, and then they do single engine, you know, engine fires and single engine procedures, and they don't want people to watch. So that's my wife would not be okay with that, and neither would I. What's BOE for? I'm sorry for my ignorance. No, I'm not aware of that. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay, got it, got it. That's a long time, 18 hours. Like, what are you doing? New York to Singapore? All right, it's time for our approach briefing. We are 80 miles from the top of the descent. Let's see, a ver, so let's pull up our charts. KMSP. We are currently on the toll gate 3 arrival. Transition is Swan. And let's get the weather for this bad boy. .280 degrees, 9 knots. So basically, a lot of options here. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're going to do ILS runway 4, circle to land runway 30 left. That will be a very fun approach. Actually, no, we do runway 35, circle to land runway 30 left. Yes, I actually use exactly that software. Although in V4 it's not that good. Okay, so let's set this up. So we're gonna do ILS 35, circle to land 30 left. That means we're going to go to November Echo Whiskey, and that's gonna be 7,000. And then we have Rose Z, and that will be 4,000. Then we have Laura, and that will be 3,000. And then we have what else we have here? Hukum, and then we circle to runway 30 left. So we're gonna do runway 30 left with a 1 mile final turn, and that is set. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys what the hell I did over here. Look. Let's see if you guys can see this. Yep. Looks like you guys can see it's fine, right? So of course there is no such thing as a procedure of 30 runway 35 circle to land 30 left. So what I do is I basically set up a standard approach to runway 30 left with a 1 mile final, right? And then I enter the legs from the ILS runway 35 in the CDU, which basically is Hukum, Laura, and the altitude will be 1.8, 3,000, and then Rossi, right? So that way, what I do is I'm not actually doing an ILS. All I'm doing is I'm following the waypoints and then taking a visual from there. So if you look at the map of what I did, hopefully this is clear. But if you look at the map, basically I'm gonna come over here like this. I'm gonna catch Rossi, which is the first fix of the ILS 35, Laura and Hukum, and then I will just take it visually from there. So like once I'm here, I will be like 1 mile from the airport, and instead of landing on 35, I'm going to just do a little loop around, like if I was flying a Cessna, and land on 30 left. and that makes me very happy. And the best thing about this approach is that when you do those very steep turns on final with full flaps configuration, the motion platform really knocks you around, which is great, because you get as a passenger that would not be fun. Although I try to make it as seamless as possible. But if I was flying into Minneapolis and the pilot was doing that in real life, I'd probably sue him. Alright, so we are 37 miles from the top of this end. What I can do for you guys after is I could go to my instruction station and set up an engine fire right after V1, and then go through all the checklists and basically put the fire out with the fire panel, and that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I actually love doing that. I actually like doing that better when there are controllers. It's much more realistic because you declare an emergency and then you do your checklist and you, I mean, try to land as however you can. No. Okay, so let's see. We are top of the sand. We are 18 miles from the top of the sand. Well, in V4, if there is a video that I was actually streaming live the other day, I think it was a couple of days ago, and I did LaGuardia to Toronto, and it was terrible weather. It was crazy. The platform was moving like it was insane, like I never seen it before. And on a 5-mile final, the simulator crashed on me. I have no idea why V4 would do that, but then I probably figured that I mapped a lot of old sceneries of P3D into V4, and that's probably not a smart thing to do, so I just removed all of those. But yes, I have had sim crashes before, and the motion starts to go crazy, so I have to put the emergency button to stop it, but it sucks when that happens. It really does suck. Yeah, I'm not sure if weather had a lot to do with it, because it was bad weather the whole flight. But yeah, like that happens, and the worst about that thing is that like when that happens to me and I restart the sim, I'm in cold and dark configuration, yet my landing gear is up, and then everything is set up as if I was flying. So like that just is bad. Apparently there is this engineer that is coming over my house that, because I mean I do have amazing hardware. I should be able to run the system with all the 3 screens in every airport without a problem, but I'm gonna have somebody that is an expert overclocker. I have 3 Titans XP Pascals, and even then, I mean, I have a 10-core CPU, but prepare just love to focus on 1 or 2 cores when you use multiple screens. Texture size EXP. Can you expand on that? I literally have no tweaks on my FSG since I got P before. I use textures of 4096, but I don't know what texture size XP is. Never heard of that. Okay, let me just check right now if I have it. But and then what does that do for you? Let me just check my. I can actually go in via the network to my simulation computer, and pull up that file and see what it comes up with. All right, so let's see. Texture. I have texture max load, of course 4096. opaque shadow texture size, translucent shadow texture size, texture quality equals 3, texture filtering equals 8, texture bandwidth multiple equals 30, max VC, well that's irrelevant because I don't have a VC, texture underscore resolution 29, detail texture equals 1, high resolution terrain textures equals 1, and that's it. Wait, do I have 10 on my setting? Did I say 10? I didn't realize. I mean, is texture size, is that, okay, let me just see, I'm gonna do it again. Texture size, so texture, a ver. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So if it's under terrain and I didn't, I mean, then it wouldn't be added because I haven't touched the CFG bottle. Under terrain, I have oh, look at that. We finally got ATC. Perfect. So no, I don't have that line. Can you explain a little bit to me of what that does and whether I should use it? My hardware is it's I mean, I have a monster GPU. I have a Titan X Pascal, 3 of them, and I have the i7 6950X, which is a 10-core, 20-thread CPU. Okay, now I am. Now I'm gonna contact the Minneapolis approach, and hopefully, and let them know my intentions of ILS 35 circle to land 30 left, and hopefully he will allow me to do it. If not, I will probably just allow myself to do it, but we'll see. And good evening, approach Delta 213 with you 17,000, expecting the ILS 35 circle to land runway 30 left.
Delta 213 land, let's approach 3301.
3301 in the box for you, my friend. I'm sorry. You said to the send via the Bible and expect what? Oh man, thank you so much. If you do that, you'll be my new best friend. 213. Okay, guys. Unfortunately, enough chatting for the moment until I land because I have to talk to GTC right now. But Jay, I definitely want to hear more about the that thing about 10 or 9 or 10 or 8 to see what if that will help me or not. I would definitely like to know more about it.
13, come 10 degrees right. 10 degrees right.
is your left 5 just look at runway 31 left. No, not at all. Anything around here will be great.
So 213 taxi via Bravo, select engage on your left, on the 701.
Bravo, and select any gate 200, sir.
Fighter